Hello there. Happy Monday. You are on with Coach Rice. I have a special guest today. I am super excited to introduce her. So, you are live with Coach Rice on Monday morning. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. This is a great day. This is the day that the Lord has made. Hey, hey, hey. No. But this is your professional certified life and health coach and mental health counselor coming to you live this Monday morning. I am super excited. I have a special guest today. Her name is Adasha Siqueira, and she is my mentee. I have a mentorship program inside of my coaching business, and so I partnered with her school, John Marshall High School. And that's what she is actually, what, you're a junior or senior?
I'm a junior.
Okay. And so I was recommended to be her mentor, which was an honor and a privilege. It's always an honor and privilege to help young people that's coming up that's interested in doing what you're doing. And so our subject today is, as you guys know, I'm doing a relationship series. This is part 2. And this particular relationship is special. We will be talking about nurturing growth. That's the topic, nurturing growth, the mentee and the mentor and mentee relationship. So we'll be talking about the growth aspect of it. It is a privilege to have you on my show today. I am so excited. I just want to say this before I start. I am so proud of you because this is something that you are seeking to do for a living. What I'm excited about is the fact that you decided to reach out to see if this is a career that you wanted for yourself. And so on this show today, we're going to talk about the importance of mentorship. What is it, basically? We're going to talk about what it is, and then I'll give you a chance to talk about how you experienced it and see if it aligns with what we talk about as well. But one of the scriptures that's on my heart is in Proverbs 3:5-6, where it talks about trust. This is my favorite scripture, by the way. One of my favorite scriptures. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. Seek His will in all you do. Some versions say acknowledge Him, but the same thing. Seek His will in all you do, and He will direct the path you will take. This really resonated with me because when you came to me, you felt led of the Lord. I find it a privilege for me because it puts me in a posture of gratefulness because God saying, I trust Martha, Coach Rice, with my child to take on this leadership role in your life. So I'm truly excited that you're on my show today, and I just want to welcome you and let you talk a little bit about who you are and what you do and what made you come seek this particular seek out completing Him.
Yeah. Well, I also want to thank you for having me here, and just thank you for your time. You always separate time for me, and I see your effort and that you care. So it's a privilege being here as well, and being able to partake into the wisdom that you have and that you're feeding into me.
Well, thank you.
Of course.
Yeah, so I want to first define what is the definition of mentorship. Basically, it's by definition, if you really look it up, it's going to say the guidance provided by a mentor, especially an experienced person in a company or educational institution. So it's really basically somebody who's coaching you, who's giving you the skill set that they have learned and passing it on. It's transferring that to you.
Right.
And that's what it is. The reason why that's important is interesting because when I was coming up, I don't recall being able to actually say, this is the career I want. Let me go shadow. That's basically what you're doing. You're shadowing me. You have been privileged to shadow in see if this is what you want to do in the context of what I've learned when I went to school.
Yeah.
And so it's really important. Mentorship is very important because what we're doing as leaders in the field that we're in, we always mentor in the field we're in.
Right.
I can't mentor you in engineering. I have no clue what that is.
Yeah.
But it's nice to be able to transfer knowledge, skill, development, career guidance, all of these things. So you get to choose. So when you came to see me, what choices do you remembering? Because counseling is a big field.
Yeah.
What choices did you have, and what did you choose at the, we toward the end of our mentorship program, but what choice did you decide to choose and why?
See, I feel like I've always had like a natural gravitation to wanting to resolve problems within like my relationships with like friends, with family. So for me, it felt very natural to kind of pursue going, like, to understand more about psychology and more about what it means to like counsel somebody. I think that came from, because I would always have really close relationships with my friends, especially, and with those relationships with my friends, I would always joke around how I would be their therapist, and I would be like, oh, I'm the therapist of the friend group, and I would always say like, and give advice. I would always be the mediator.
Okay.
So like naturally, like it was kind of a position that I would see myself in a lot. And when it came to like when I'm getting older now and I'm thinking about, okay, what do I want to do with my life? I was looking at like what I'm naturally good at, and then I kind of saw how that was something that I already like went towards.
Okay.
And but for some time, like I was still conflicted because I didn't know if that was just like a hunch or if it was actually something that God wanted me to do.
Okay.
Because also because of my faith, I wanted to make sure that I was fulfilling the purpose that God created in my life.
Okay.
So the summer before I reached out to you, I was praying to God, and I was like, God, like, is this going to be a good path for me? And luckily at my school there was this program, the mentorship, where I can basically like dabble in different fields of study, right? To see what would be best for me. So whenever I was thinking about that, I was like, okay, therapist. I mean, I joked around about it before, but I mean, I wouldn't be angry if I chose that path. So I was praying to God, and I was like, God, just reveal to me. And then I just like felt like in my heart like that it was kind of my purpose and my path. So that's whenever I met you, and that's whenever that's whenever I met your connection.
Right. And so while we were in our mentorship program, while we were in the influx of it in the beginning, I gave you different scenarios of, because psychology was the approach, right?
Yes.
But I gave you different scenarios what each particular part does in the world of therapy, in the mental health field. There's different fields. And after understanding those, which one did you choose to go? Which path did you choose to take? Because you got the psychologist, you got the psychiatrist, you got the...
Oh, I see.
You have different parts,
right.
But which part did you gravitate toward, and why?
I wanted to be specifically a counselor.
Okay.
I'm not too sure yet if that's going to be a marriage and family counselor, or if that's going to be, I'm not sure what the other counseling parts are, but I do know that I want to sit down and have a connection and a like conversation-led, like, I think it's called, it's psychotherapy, right? Where you converse with your clients.
Yeah, you can be a counselor or a therapist. Well, therapist and counselor is similar.
Right.
But you can be a marriage and family therapist. You can be just a regular counselor, or you can, it's different states. But basically, I think you really mentioned about. I recall you mentioning about families.
Yeah.
And so you would want to definitely do the marriage and family,
Yeah.
you want to take on that particular
Route.
take that route when you go to your master's program. But what's awesome about it, make sure your school has where you could sit for the for the LPC as well, because that's the part, the LPC or the MFT. When you take the MFT, some schools will allow you, I think most will allow you to sit for the LPC, and you actually have both.
Have both degrees?
And you have both licenses. Yeah, so make sure you find out about that.
Right.
Because that's the opportunity that I had to sit for both.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to be able to have that opportunity,
Both
since
tools.
that's the role that you decide to take, is the marriage and family therapy role, which they need someone like you in their field. I think you did a very good job learning throughout the process. So we're going to talk about mentor-mentee dynamic. That the difference, the mentors provide the insight and the information that enable you to have the success that you need.
Right.
We offer the instructions. We offer how to perform the instructions. We take you through, it's shadowing, like job shadowing, but actually we walking you through, and we holding your hand throughout the journey, so you can get a full understanding of what it's like to be in our shoes, right?
Yeah.
And so she got a chance to come in and see what it's like to have practice, to be actually in, because I have my own practice, I was able to give her the experience that she needed. And so but the roles and responsibilities of what you have is basically to show up and to seek out the guidance that you need, be honest and open about how you feel. We always talked about, am I giving you what you need? Do you have an understanding?
Yes.
We also you were always respectful. I was respectful towards you.
Most definitely.
One of the things that mentees fail to realize sometimes is they have to be proactive in reaching out to the mentor, because it's their responsibility for learning. I know you made all of your appointments. You reached out, you made all your appointments. You made sure that you had the things that you needed. And when you came, you always came prepared, ready to engage. That's a big thing, because I didn't have to force feed you. I didn't have to do anything but show up.
Right.
Because you were ready.
Yeah.
What was that experience like for you?
For me, I think it really helped because I have a class in school where I have a teacher who's also keeping me accountable. So I really love her because she is so organized, and by the beginning of each grading semester or grading period, she plans out the calendar for that month. So every single day I know exactly what I need to be doing. And if I have a mentor journal, so whenever we go on our meetings, we'll converse about X topic. Okay. Right? And then I'll journal about it, and I'll write about what I experienced from that conversation, and I'll just log about that meeting. So usually these meetings they're mandatory, those journals. So because I have a calendar and I can see ahead of the month of when I need to turn those journals in, I also know whenever I need to schedule an appointment for me to see you before that due date. Right. So yeah, and also because, like I said earlier, I've always had a natural inclination to this topic and to the subject. So naturally, I'm very curious to learn more about it. And because you are in a position where you're, all knowing about what I want to know. I wouldn't say all knowing, but more experienced. Yeah. So I can come to you and ask those questions.
You get the information you need.
You get the information you need,
And I want to, just really, you are a junior in high school. Yes. Seeking out your career for the future. When I was a junior in high school, we did have to we was at school and they were encouraging us to figure out what we want to do.
Yeah.
Honestly, I knew it, but I didn't have the confidence that you had coming up, which was interesting. But I didn't have like what it would look like, and that's what you had gained a knowledge of.
Yeah.
And some of the characteristics, I want to talk about the characteristics that relationship carry, the mentor and the mentee. Is one of them is you have to have an excellent mentor. They have to be organized and focus driven on what your needs are. And I wanted to do the best job I could do in that area. What are some of the things that you've throughout this journey, what would you say what made me an excellent mentor for you?
I think it's the fact that you constantly show up. So whenever I need to see you, you're always consistent. So it's like you have your calendar open and I can mark my appointments, but I can rely on the fact that you're going to be there. I know throughout this mentor program, there have been some inconsistencies with my other peers where some mentors don't show up, and because of that it creates difficulty within that relationship, that there's not a clear line of communication. I know that like just in past like circumstances, there's also been like times of ghosting where a mentor will like completely like
oh my God,
like stop
that's
responding.
horrible.
Yeah, and it's horrible because the whole class you get graded based on your mentorship, so it's like you could be failing the class just because your mentor doesn't
tough.
show up.
That's tough.
So the fact that you show up, but also you're always so joyful. I don't ever have the feeling like I'm a burden, or if I'm like interrupting like your schedule. I feel very welcomed when I'm with you and speaking to you. I feel heard whenever you ask me questions if I've understood, and you elaborate very well as well, to a degree that I can understand. So, yeah.
That's good. I never knew that. I know that you will have. One of the things that's important to me is create a safe space within a relationship.
Yeah.
That's a great. If I don't create, in order for me to create a safe space, I have to be consistent and trustworthy and integrity and consistent.
And you've shown that, yeah.
And that's one of the characteristics of a mentor and a mentee, because I have to develop a level of trust in you that you're going to show up.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the values that we had in our relationship is that we had trust.
Yes.
We had consistency. It wasn't just me, it was you too. We had consistency. But we were also flexible in saying, okay, we can meet this time because we have a schedule. One of the things that I hope I gave you, and you gave me as well, is being a good listener. You were a good listener.
Yeah.
And was our good soundboard for you, and that's good, and that's one of the characteristics is a good listener and a soundboard to each other. And just also diversity of perspectives is important, because you're not going to always see things the way I see them. And I hope that we had that kind of balance.
Yeah.
What would you say as far as like, because it talks about mentor have to be knowledgeable, they have to be non-judgmental, they have to give constructive feedback. Did you feel you had that within this relationship?
Most definitely, yeah. I know that I've heard somewhere, I'm not sure if it's in the Bible, probably it's somewhere in the Bible, right? But it's that good leaders are good followers.
Right.
So I feel like because whenever I talk to you, you always have that open-endedness of like, if you didn't understand, like you can like reconfirm, and like I can like check with you, like, and like ask questions. Like you didn't, you made that safe space, right? So if I had any like confusion over anything, that there was room for me to ask, and talk about it.
Right. And then it talks about being honest and candid, and I think we were very good at that in the beginning, all the way through our mentorship. All through the mentorship program. But it also, just so you know, gave me the ability to create a mentorship program model within my practice. So if another person came, all I got to do is do the same exact thing without any problem.
Yeah.
Because it's really giving them the tools they need to see if this is something that they want to do for a living. Give them a living experience. Tell me about your living experience that you were able to experience in the realm of what our relationship was like. What was it? What was your, you had a living experience. Let's talk about that. How did you experience being in a room and sitting as a therapist? Just sitting as a therapist. What was that like for you?
I think because whenever we do meet up, before that instance, before I had the live session with one of your patients, because we went into depth over, like, I think we went over narrative therapy at the time. I think we went into defense mechanisms. I'm not sure if we did at that point, but I gained knowledge of these theories and how these theories are like structured and how that applies to people. So as I was speaking to your patient, I was able to notice those different theories that we had previously talked about. And I think I mentioned this to you before, but I feel like before we had this mentorship, I kind of understood what those were, like not from, just from a place of intuition, where like somebody would say something and then I would kind of see it as like, oh, maybe that's not the best thing to say, but I didn't know how to like verbalize that or like bring that attention, bring that to their attention without like labeling it on them. And I feel like beforehand, like whenever we would talk about those things and then actually being in that life situation, I learned how to ask questions. That was a big thing. I thought like therapy, because I'm a big talker, and I thought therapy would kind of just be like, okay, what's your problem? You know, you listen to the person, but then you'd give like a solution right away. But then what you've taught me is that you don't do that. Well, in a way you do, but it's more you ask questions and they're the expert. And not necessarily like you're not leading them and telling them what they should be doing, but more just understanding where they're at and going to them
and so
meeting them where they are.
And in the context of what we're talking about, just to clarify, we do call them clients, not patients. But that's fine. But one of the things I want you to recognize is that I was actually training you at a life coaching, from a life coaching perspective. Now, when you're in therapy, you will learn, I was teaching you how to be more curious so you can gather the information from them. And so from a client-centered point of view, that's great. When you go into school, they're going to give you models to use, and they're going to give, that's a different thing. Therapy is more like, okay, a treatment plan. You're going to have a treatment plan to give them. We haven't gotten to that piece, but we getting it. We did theories, but we haven't gotten into, you're going to give a treatment plan, whereas a life coach doesn't do that.
I see.
That's the difference. We have a plan, but it's not according to the models used. And so it's really according to the rapid pace they're going in, because it's different. Life coaches don't delve into your background and your history and trauma. It's more like, let me get you from a stuck position to moving forward.
I see.
So it's really, it's a little different. So what you're gonna learn, because you're gonna be, when you become a counselor or therapist, you're gonna learn treatment plans, which is awesome. But that ain't something that I wanted to give you now, because that's gonna be something you're gonna do in the future. I wanted to give you an experience to be able to sit in a room with a client to see what that felt like. Yeah. And what did that feel like for you to sit with a client?
At first I was a bit nervous. I didn't want to say the wrong thing. I didn't want to kind of impose on her, especially because, a client, they'll come in and they'll open up about an issue, right? And it's like you're there to help console and validate what they're going through. So I was more concerned about how I was going to do that in like an effective manner. But once I was actually in the room, you prefaced to me the importance of joining. So I kind of like had to like just let that go and then just kind of really just focus on what she was saying and being present so I wouldn't like get in my head and stay in that nervous state.
And it's normal. I told you it's normal to be nervous because it's your first time. But let's teach you how to join. But I also I modeled it for you.
You did, yes.
Before you sat in a room with the same person, so you can gather the story.
Yeah.
And so so just to give you guys context, I chose a client and got permission for her to do this and let them know that this will be something that they gonna sit with and got consent so that we can cover, so we can make sure that we in alignment with safety for the client. And so we were able to get the consent. She was able to sit in with a live client to see if there's something that she get a feel for. She was actually a natural at it. It was so natural. The person actually joined well. It joined well. So she sat in one session first with me. She was an observer. And so we got consent to do that. And she sat in with a session where I was with the client first. And then the next time, she was with the client. And I was the observer. And so I thought it was a really good experience for her. It felt really good for me because I got that in my internship. But I didn't get it like that. I just had to go in with what I've learned without no observer.
I see.
And so what happens is we go in, we see the client, and then we go and supervision. We have supervision every week, and we go in with our cases and say, okay, this is what's going on, and they give us feedback. Have you thought about this? You might want to do this treatment plan. So we get our, marching orders to go back in.
Right.
And so, but I wanted to be very authentic. I wanted to see how you feel in a room and give you that experience. And I was grateful to God that he was able to give us someone that agreed to do it. And that walked away saying, oh my God, she's really good at the age she's at. And I think she even said, she told you she saw someone young and was not able to join with them.
That came out of their...
It was just coming out of their
degree.
They degree, and she felt like, oh my God, they were horrible. But she mentioned that you were natural, and coming from her, I thought it was very good because she wasn't the type of client to give compliments like that.
Really?
So I thought that was very genuine. That was very genuine, and this because you're gifted. Honestly, you're gifted in this. You really are. God called you. I believe God called you to this field, and I know you're gonna do so much in this field. You're gonna do so great in it, and I'm so excited for you. And I'm being honest. I would let you know this is not for you if it wasn't. But I wouldn't have put you in a room if I didn't think it was for you.
Right.
But you have done such great work. You understand the concepts. You were able to implement them in the room, and I thought that was great. And I thought it was great because of your age, to be honest with you. I was like, oh my God, she's really doing this thing. She's well equipped because God equipped you, and that makes me feel good that he sent you my way because it's his doing, And so I think one of the other great characteristics of a successful mentor-mentee relationship is the mentor has to be successful in their career. They have to be willing to devote and develop you, the time and develop you, and you have to be eager to learn. And that makes the dance very well. We doing the dance very well when we are complementary. So we're actually moving with each other instead of away, because how could two walk unless they agree? And so it's amazing how well you have done in your mentorship program. Really excited for you, and it's benefits, and it's so many benefits in having a mentor. Like when you get in your career, my suggestion is continue to have more than one mentor. When you go, have you a therapist, have you a life coach, because you want to know what it feels like to be in that seat.
Right.
Not only that, you're gonna, just because you are a therapist or life coach don't mean you have it all together.
True.
We have areas where we are stuck. We have issues in life that happens.
We're also human.
And we are so human. And you want to be able to sit with your clients, understanding that I'm human, you're human, and I get it.
Yeah.
I understand the nervousness. I do, because I have mentors. I have life coaches. I have a therapist. I have these things. And so it's easy for me to not be judgmental.
Right.
Or arrogant. I'm not arrogant in my field, because I know we all have life that we face every day.
Every day.
And we are one situation from being stressed. We one situation from dealing with anxiety. We one step away from going to see a therapist. All of us are one situation away from needing help. We all need help. That's what we're here for. We all need help. And so the benefits of a mentorship is to be able to not just serve, but be served.
Yeah.
Be
Most
open
definitely.
to be helped. You know, that's one of the things. And so I advise you definitely to continue this route. Get you some mentors that you trust, that's doing it, that's doing the same, that's in that trajectory. You don't want nobody that's not. And so it helps. And building that a successful mentee and mentor relationship, we always want to make sure that we have our mutual goals. We had mutual goals. We sat down and talked about it. We laid out how the spread of how we're going to do. We shared Google Docs where where you can have what you need. So when your program is over, we didn't deviate.
Yeah.
We stayed on the course.
Yeah.
You not missing any components. That was the key, to make sure, like, I had to find out what is it that they want and implement that so that you can get what you need to get the grade that you need. But not only the grade, it wasn't about the grade. No. It was really about the experience.
Yes.
Because I really want you to make a sound choice on what you want to do for your career. Yeah. Because it's really, it's not just a career, it's your purpose. This is your purpose you found. And you found to be that you're very effective in it and that you're comfortable. You know, so I'm super proud of you. And I am so grateful that God put you in my life and trust me with you as a whole human being to say, God said, I trust Martha to do this, and I'm gonna put you in her hands. You could have chose, you know how many people out here you could have chose? Praise God that it was me. Yes. You know, and I thank God for that. I hope you
no, I thank God I found you too. And it was so miraculous, because I found from a friend that was my sister's friend that goes to a church that I don't go to anymore. And so it was
And so you was recommended.
I was recommended. So awesome. It was very purposeful. It was very
And so in building a successful mentor and mentee relationship, you want to make sure that you build trust and a rapport, and that means consistency. That means care. That means showing up. That means being intentional. We were intentional. Yes. And that's what that means. But you know, the fruits, what we put in, the fruits of our labor is showing. Yes. So I'm going to let her tell you, she has a new podcast out.
Oh, yes.
And I'm going to let her tell you about it. I am so excited. She wanted to do a podcast. And so I'm going to let her tell the people what made you want to do a podcast, what it's about, and what is your goals.
So my podcast, it's called the Essential Elements Podcast. It's on Spotify. And whenever I first created it, it came along with this class, the mentorship that I have with you. But I've always wanted, and I've always desired to have kind of a platform where I can share what I know and the wisdom that I have, because I feel like I also recognize God did gift me with that, as I mentioned before, when I was praying to God, what am I going to do with my life, he guided me through that moment and was like, you already know. So I knew that like kind of a podcast would be like a space and a platform where I can project what God is feeding me.
Nice.
You know, that's what God calls us to do, is
Right.
to make disciples and to be a representation of Him on earth. So for me, that was just me fulfilling that purpose as a Christian, but just also as a human, like to share God's love. And I really wanted my podcast to have like these practical theories that I've learned throughout this mentorship and that I'll continue learning, but also interwoven with God, because I feel like you can find truth within these things, but it all ultimately always points back to God.
Yes.
And He's the only thing that can ever fulfill our hearts and ever fulfill our souls. I believe that we're spiritual beings with spiritual needs, and God is a spiritual being. He's the divine, so we need to look towards Him to heal that spiritual need that we have in our hearts that also connects with our emotions. And
Yes.
I feel like therapy and counseling and all of these things, these tools, I think you mentioned it to me, it's like a toolbox. You
Right.
know, when you learn all these different things of like what you can do, there's different circumstances in your life that you'll use one tool, but you probably won't use the other one. You don't need a
Right.
screwdriver to put in a nail.
Right.
Or I don't know.
Right, I know what
Right.
you mean.
But
you don't need a hammer to put in a nail, or well, it depends on what type of nail. But I
yeah,
got
that's what I thought. I was like, but there's the ones with the little cross, or I guess.
Right.
But anyways,
you don't need a screwdriver to cut paper. No.
there you go. But yeah, so my podcast was and is a platform where I can show to my listeners, not show, but teach more of my own experiences and the things that I have gone through, and share those experiences so it can be applied within my listeners' lives. So if like I've made mistakes in the past, which I have, you know, I can make light of those mistakes, but then also show what I've learned through those mistakes and how you or my listeners can learn from the mistakes that I made, so they don't have to go through that. So it's like leading an example.
Awesome. And I love your podcast. You're a natural.
Thank
I just
you.
must say, I'm not saying it just say it. I was like, I listened to it. I was like, wow, she's pretty good.
Thank you.
No, it's really good. I like it. I like how you pray before you do. I just like it. I like everything about it. Keep doing it. Don't look for perfection. Look for progress. And
Yeah,
I remember you
that's
like,
good.
I don't know.
Yeah, it took
I
me
said,
a while
no,
to start.
Go do it.
Yes.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
And I love the logo. I love how you did it. And so look for her on Spotify.
Yes.
And so I'm excited because her age group, she's very much hitting that age range. And we all need it. We
Yeah.
all need to hear good knowledge. And I
Yeah.
love the fact that you implement the word of God and
Yeah.
keep doing what you're doing. I'll be praying for you as you continue
Thank
your
you.
journey. And definitely keep us posted on what you're doing and how your career path is. Stay on the path. If you ever need encouragement after the mentorship program, you can always call
I'll
me.
always take that. Most definitely.
So excited for you. We have an upcoming marriage and family therapist and counselor or both coming up in the future. This is our future, and I'm so glad to be a part of that. So this is what a successful mentor and mentee relationship look like, is that we're transferring our information onto the mentee so that they can implement it just that much better. We always want to upgrade. So we're getting the upgrade version of myself, because she's gonna be definitely ready. And when she go into her psychology program, she's gonna be good because she has tools that she could take with her before, so it's not going to be hard for her to navigate through the learning process. And so that's what true mentor and menteeship relationship is like. It's a trusting relationship with mutual goals, mutual expectations, good communication, trust, and a good rapport.
Yes.
So I thank you guys for listening. Hope this helped. If you can actually mentor someone or find you a mentor, that is one of the most amazing things, because I wouldn't be where I am today without the mentors that's in my life. So I just want to encourage you guys, go seek out help, because we are helpers one to another.
Yeah.
So happy Monday. Have a great day. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being on the show, Adasha.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Truly happy to have you. And just want to say I'm signing off. Have a happy Monday. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hope that you got something out of it. I'm in a relationship series right now, and I definitely want to make sure that I got it programmed and scheduled. I don't talk about the next topic until I get there. So hope you enjoyed this topic. I also want to let you know, in the month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month. I have a training that I am doing so that I can share some of the things that I've managed my stress, my anxiety, my worry, and my fear. There's different tools that I want to share in an ebook and in the interactive virtual training that I have coming up in May. You only have to sign up for one Saturday, and it's limited space. So make sure you go to my website, complete the letter nhem.com, and when you get there, you will see a flyer that says interactive training, and you hit join now, and you will get the it would actually loop you through how to get the training. The first 5 individuals will get a bonus for signing up and sealing that seat. I only have limited space, so please make sure you get on it. You will not regret it. I promise you, this will be a great workshop for you. So don't forget to sign up so that you can get the tools you need to manage stress, anxiety, worry, and fear. That's some of the things that we have now, because we're in uncertain times, and I don't want you to not saddle up for it, but I want you to be prepared. And so join my workshop. It's not about the price is very low. It's not about the price, it's about the information that you're going to get. And so I'm giving you valuable information, results driven, for you to be successful. So I just want to thank you for listening. Happy Monday. Have a great day. Thank you for listening. Love you guys as usual. I'm signing off.